baby, American Horror Story 1984 did not disappoint. I am now fully in for this season. If you're not recording it, please do so. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch. It was really good. I enjoyed the pacing, the music, and everything else in between. I mean, it's based in the 80s, so I'm going to love it regardless. I want to do a quick run through of the episode itself, not giving everything away, but most things away. So if you're not into spoilers, this is not your review. And then I'm going to talk about some of my favorite moments from tonight's episode. We're dealing with Mr. Jingles, and he is a former war veteran who clearly has clicked out and decides to kill a lot of people and collect ears. That was his thing to do, and make a necklace out of them. In 1970, he killed a bunch of campers and was then caught, put on trial, and then put into a mental institution. Michael Myers, Halloween, anybody, because they literally give you that scene. And I was like, all right, am I watching John Carpenter Halloween? What's happening here? But it was definitely for the effect of he was tried, he was put away, but now he's back out. I'm jumping too far ahead, but let me continue. We meet, and I'm looking down for this part because these names, I'm just like, okay. Xavier, Montana, Ray, Chet, and Brooke. I'm already a fan of Montana. It's nice to see Emma Roberts as Brooke because we've always seen her as a BIT, you know the rest. Ray, hey friend from Dear White People, I'm glad to see you in another role on something something. Body looking right, hair looking whack. Chet, I enjoy looking at Chet, but Chet, I don't know. We're waiting for something to really pop off with him. He gives me scary roid rage tease. And Xavier, well, you know, I'm still used to seeing him as the son of Satan. But he's running away from something himself. Interesting. Everybody has a past. Xavier is running away from his problems and decides to be a counselor at this camp that has a really bad reputation, Camp Redwood. And he invites his friends to come. Now, Brooke's like, no, I don't want to do all that because I'm going to school, which is great. But then Brooke is attacked by the Night Stalker, who they just had a conversation about, jumping into people's houses, robbing them, and killing them on behalf of Satan. And she is almost made a sacrifice until she brings out a frying pan and gives them the 1-2, the 1-2. Now, he says he will find her by Satan's will. That's scary. I'd have got on my knees and prayed after that once the police came. But Brooke decides to go and be a camp counselor as well so she can avoid that crazy man who jumped into her house to only steal one ring and nothing else that she had. Because, you know, she's new there. She's poor. They make it to camp. They meet Nurse Rita. Hey, Angelica Ross. I was living for you, baby. And I'm so glad they gave you more than just one line in one episode, too. I'm glad to see it. As well as Margaret Booth, who is played by Leslie Grossman. We know her for Popular, as well as the last season of American Horror Story and Cult. God, that one was awful. And Chef Birdie, who I'm hoping we get a little bit more of her because she seemed interesting as well. Oh, but before all that happened, they ran into somebody who had no idea who they were, and, you know, they try to save some people. We don't know what's going on. They think he's a junkie. We later find out that an ear is missing, and I have questions for that as well. They get the run through of the camp. Margaret is very specific on no one can have sex and there can be no drugs. She's found Jesus, and we find out later why once Nurse Rita tells us the whole story of Mr. Jingles. And Margaret says, if you're not going to tell the story right, don't tell it at all. Bam! Miss Thing is missing an ear. Ah! How gross. She tells us that she was there when that happened, and by the grace of God, she was able to let that man take her ear off without flinching, screaming, or losing her grip to where he actually would have killed her. So she has reopened the camp as a way of bringing back the good and wanting to show that this camp is more than just a horror story, and that, you know, dumb reasons for that. Child, so we find out through a wonderful scene very much inspired by Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, of course, the original 1979, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, that's one of my favorite movies ever, that Mr. Jingles has escaped from his mental institution that he was being held at by faking his death and has found his way back to camp to finish what he started because he had a clipping of Margaret Booth opening the camp. Lots of red, lots of this. I'm gonna get her. And anybody else there. Oh, I can't forget about the activities director who was low-key a porn star. And Montana's ready to jump on that. Y'all, Billy Lord had some of the best lines of this episode along with Angelica Ross and every other now and then every other character. But those two in particular, I was getting my giggles from. The hitchhiker ends up getting killed. Oh my gosh! And Brooke gets face to face with Mr. Jingles. Brooke is now running and sliding through the mud, always falling every 5 seconds. Thank you, Ryan Murphy, for keeping it very 80s like and showing that they always fell every 5 seconds and somehow survived because she survived Mr. Jingles on the first night. However, as a payphone rings and nobody goes to answer it, the same person who was just chased through the woods by somebody who enjoys the sound of keys jingling and wants to collect ears answers the payphone, to where we then see the Night Stalker. Boom, 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 episode ends. Let's get into a few reasons why I like this episode. One, the music. The music. I'm so excited for the rest of the season because you know the music is just going to get even better. That's the one. Two, the characters I'm invested in, even the ones who are annoying me just a little bit. I'm enjoying the writing of this as well. It's not too corny. It's right on the nose. We're in on the joke and it doesn't feel too forced. Love that about it. I'm already picking out my favorite characters who I want to live. I'm so concerned they're going to do this like an episode by episode of who is going to die and who's going to stay. And, oh, they just went home and, oh, they're missing and da-da-da-da-da. I'm very interested to see how they're going to pace this out. If any of the new campers that are going to come there are going to die, or if this is just going to be based on counselors alone. We had several deaths. We had several kills that happened, and they were nice kills too. A couple of knives to the back of the head, one through the eye, slit of the ear. Ew! Someone getting a car crushed on them, then their face stomped in. Also, a strangling. There was quite a lot, and I'm here for that because I felt in other seasons of American Horror Story, it was more the tone that was scary or the mood that was being placed that was kind of scary or things of that nature, and it didn't really give you the kill count that we kind of needed. I feel so when I like to watch horror movies. I'm one of those people that watches the kill count. If y'all don't know what that is, look it up on YouTube. Seriously, I was here for it. So, do I recommend watching this? Absolutely. Will I continue to do reviews? Duh, here we are right now. But definitely get into American Horror Story 1984. It is now out. Get the FX app if you haven't seen it. I know they do a free trial for the first episode sometimes. Or if you have a cable provider, look on your DVR. Just log into the app and just watch it. It's your boy, Matty Rants. I will see you next week for more reviews with American Horror Story. And don't forget my Dragula reviews that are out now, as well as Camp Wanakiki, and my interviews with a lot of the Drag Race queens and local queens at DragCon New York City. Thanks for tuning in. Hugs and kisses. Best love and wishes to you. I'll see you next week for some more Mr. Jingles. I shake it, shake it, shake it. I shake it, shake it, shake it. I shake it, shake it.